The numbers that I'm about to share with you guys, okay, I promise you want to watch this episode because it's insane.
To be honest with you, Cody, when somebody told us insurance, we threw up in our mouths a little bit. We thought that's where people went. Yeah, we thought that's where people went when they couldn't figure life out, when everything else had beat them up too badly. Yeah, we had no idea more 6 and 7 figures were created in this industry than anybody. So I would have started a lot earlier. I mean, what the heck?
We thought it's like, this is where old car guys go to die. Like, you can't, or they flunk out of car sales because they can't, maybe they don't have a license anymore.
MLM didn't work? Here you go. Get your insurance license.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
what we really thought.
I got a couple special guests today, Rob and Kimberly Skinner. Welcome on the YouTube channel today.
Great to be here with you, Cody.
Thanks for having us, Cody.
Yeah, you got it. As soon as I met y'all, because we met at SWAT at Nate's event, and I'm like, man, there is something unique about these two people. This is a power couple doing some big stuff. The numbers that I'm about to share with you guys, okay, I promise you want to watch this episode because it's insane. They're actually going to do a breakout at 8% Nation on some of these things. But just to go literally to kind of dive in real quick, to get people's attention, I'm going to just recap some of the things we've talked about, which are unbelievably impressive, by the way. Okay. So kudos to you two, right? You've done over 7 figures in 6 different industries.
Yes.
Okay. Also, while part-time, was doing over 10K in premium every month for the first several months. Did 25K at the end of November, and then every month since you've been doing 30K a month or more personally. Literally haven't even been in the industry a year yet, technically, right? Like 10, 11 months, which is amazing. Ultimate goal is to really build a team. You've done $1 million in a month twice, which is mind-blowing. I'm like, man, I love these people already. And you lost 30 million bucks at one point. That's the part that intrigues me the most, you know?
Yep.
That was crazy. That was a tough 12 hours.
Yeah, I'm looking at this resume. I'm like, these people are like, they got to be like 147 years old. You know, it's like, jeez, man.
Sure.
Combined, we're getting close.
There you go. Well, you guys are amazing. It's super impressive. Also, you talked a lot about like suppressing time and compressing time and doing big things in a short amount of time, which I preach constantly and absolutely love. What does that look like? Because I feel like a lot of insurance agents move so slow, like they just have so much time on their hands. We really don't.
Yeah, well, there's a saying we've kind of changed it a little bit where, fast is fun and slow
is no bueno.
No bueno.
Well, it's not only no bueno, but it doesn't work. Yeah. If you don't compress things and you don't learn them quickly, you start over every time. Every time, so we had a mentor once that told us, he says, you got to do something 20 or 30 times to really kind of get it ingrained. But if it takes you a year to do those 20 times, you're starting over at 1 each time. So we said, well, how fast do you want us to do it? He says, well, you got to do at least 1 a day, do 30 within 30 days. So we cut that in half and we did our first 20 sets in about 12 days. We just said, and we didn't know what we were doing. We made a lot of mistakes. He said, journal it. And so we actually, we went in at home, Kimberly and I, and we didn't, to be honest with you, Cody, when somebody told us insurance, we threw up in our mouths a little bit. We thought that's where people went. Yeah, we thought that's where people went when they couldn't figure life out, when everything else had beat them up too badly. Yeah, we had no idea more 6 and 7 figures were created in this industry than anybody. So I would have started a lot earlier. I mean, what the heck?
We thought it's like, this is where old car guys go to die. Like, you can't, or they flunked out of car sales because maybe they don't have a license anymore.
MLM didn't work? Here you go. Get your insurance license.
Yeah,
that's
exactly
what we really thought. But so when a good friend of ours, Kyle, told us, go do this, it fit with everything I taught. And we've had the great fortune of living at the feet of people like Zig Ziglar and people that have, I said, you're so much younger than us. And I told somebody a few years ago when I hired a coach, I said, well, I had to go down in years because all my mentors are either passed away, they're living in a cemetery, or they're in a walker, you know? So I've had to go down to youthful people, but I believe everybody deserves a great coach. I believe people deserve a lot of great things that we'll talk about, but
That's right.
Compressing time is probably the most important aspect that I believe that we can impart on people, getting through those struggles quickly, because that's where we learn from. Losing that $30 million was the biggest, greatest. I struggled for a minute. It was a long minute. And then you got back up on our feet and we crushed a few things. We were forced to.
Okay, so I'm curious for each of you. Kimberly, I'll start with you. What did you learn the most from losing 30 million bucks?
Well, you definitely take a good look at what's important. That's the first thing is you go inside and you say, okay, what is really important? We have our health, we have our family, we have the skills and experiences that it took to get there in the first place. You do that little skill inventory and you go, okay, all right, well, what can we turn that into? You know, right. You just got to be, flexible and willing to pivot, I guess.
That's good. Rob, how about for you, buddy? What was a big takeaway for you?
Yeah. So as the provider, I've always been the producer. Not that Kimberly can't produce. She's just not as, I don't know, as boisterous as me, as a personality as me, as red as me. She's my balance. She fills in the gaps where I'm weak, and she needs less of the FaceTime than my ego does. So I will be honest, I'll be a little vulnerable here. Good. I spent a very short moment at the deepest, darkest place in my life and had some really bad thoughts. But on my knees and on that cliff where maybe some men and women have been, where I had 20 years to build a dynasty in the automobile industry, and it was gone in 12 hours. In 2008 to 2010, 3,800 Chevrolet dealers lost their franchises. It not only took my Chevrolet dealership franchises down, but my Buick, my Subaru, my Ford, Lincoln, and Mercury all disappeared inside of a day. And there was nothing we could do about it. There was no fight left in me. And so I was literally on that cliff where a guy says, man, do I just cut my throat and throw myself off of it? And what I did was, I looked and I said, wait a second, the things that mean the most to me, God, family, friends, those things have nothing to do with my vocation. That's right. Not a thing. God does not care what I'm doing. He cares what I'm doing with what he has given me. And we had gifts. We had to realize them. We had to magnify them. And then we had to share them. And if not, he takes that torch and gives it to somebody else, right? So as torch bearers, which we do believe we have some leadership capabilities, we had a responsibility to the people that were following us. And I had a responsibility to my children, who now have given us 10 grandchildren. And so that legacy that we were trying to build, it just had to shift. So as Kimberly said, you guys talk a lot on your podcast, Cody, about, not having a plan B. I never really thought about that too much, because everything I've ever done, I've just gone in it and tackled it 100%. I just tackle what's ever in front of me, and I try to be the best at whatever I'm doing. And it doesn't matter what I'm doing. I told a daughter yesterday, my youngest daughter, she's in a cleaning business. And I said, maybe you could own a cleaning business. Maybe I can help you get that started, because the owner's making $300,000 and she's making $20 an hour. And I said, maybe she goes, Dad, I don't want to do this. She doesn't realize what that means yet. And so I just told her yesterday, just be the best cleaner you can be for right now. Just be the best employee right there, right now. And I always figured God would take care of plan B. If plan A was taken away from me because he doesn't care what I'm doing, I just figured the next thing that fell in my lap. So I got on my knees and I prayed, and we developed a company from some people I'd sold cars to in Alaska. The Gulf oil hit. And so I put together 70 people that we trained in wildland firefighting. I didn't know anything about it. So I became a wildland firefighter. We had smoke jumpers, the whole deal. I hired 70 people. I hired a trainer from the federal government. We trained them. And then when the oil spill hit in the Gulf, I got on my knees. I prayed. Prompting came to me. I cross-trained them all in hazmat. I started calling the people I'd sold cars to in Alaska. And a lot of these people from the oil companies, they called me back and they said, hey, we're trying to get you guys down there. How many guys can you get? Boom. A lightning strikes a pipeline in Utah. I get a call, said, how soon can you be in Utah with how many men and how many rigs? So 60 of us, 6 hours later, and 13 of my rigs were in Utah. And we made $3 million in a couple of months.
Dang.
Because we prepared and to come to ourselves. And I didn't know anything about oil. I didn't know anything about fighting fires before I took the test, took the training, and went out and did it. We fought fires. We did oil spills. We did a lot of things.
Well, there's one thing that I just heard, and I heard it before we got on. I felt it when I met you and both, and I heard this just now, is you are okay admitting that you don't know it all. And when you go into an industry, you are finding the best. You're spending time with the best. You're learning from the best. And then you are finding ways to implement the way you want to do it along with what you're learning. And you just, like when you jumped into the industry, you went and shadowed someone extremely successful. You set all the appointments. You split business with them just to learn. That is a massive nugget and takeaway for our audience to hear. These two people are in front of you, Rob and Kimberly Skinner, are unbelievable, right? They are coachable. And to be honest, you don't have to be coachable. You've done over seven figures in 6 different industries. I've never done that. Right? Coach Bird hasn't done that. Like, that's freaking amazing. And so for y'all to be coachable and the kind of people you are, it says a lot about you. Also, for those that are listening and watching, these two are looking at building a team and helping others do the ridiculous numbers that they're doing now. And if they resonate with you, you should reach out and have a conversation with them, right? At 8% Nation during their breakout, you should reach out and walk up and talk to them. They're super approachable, by the way. They may seem like, oh my gosh, people are so successful, I can't approach and talk to them. I promise you, you can, right, Kimberly? They can approach you.
Our favorite thing is helping people go from where they are to get to their goals and do it really, really quickly. That is our favorite thing. That literally lights our spirit up whenever we have the ability to do that. We were just talking to an agent on our team yesterday, and he and I were riding in the car next to each other. We're often shoulder to shoulder. So when you're talking to us, you're talking to us, literally. And so he's describing his, went over his weekly activity report, and immediately we dive in there. Rob says, okay, here's where the lever is that you need to pull. And so then I contribute, okay, and here's where to look for how to build that skill set. So we just kind of work it that way. Oftentimes we just lend each other our own little perspective. And I think what that brings to the agent is a really well-rounded ability to compress those timelines.
That's huge. What about y'all? Like, was it like the way you were raised, or a friend or a mentor? Like, where does it come from for you to seek out help when you embark on a new journey? Where does that come from? That's not taught, but it should be. Well,
for me, it's my father was incredibly athletic, and I grew up. I had asthma as a child, really bad, where I couldn't compete when I was very young. And as a matter of fact, the first falling out my father and I had as I joined the wrestling team, without his permission, I was told not to by the doctors. And so he thought I was the water boy for the wrestling team. And when he came to the first match and I was wrestling, I was in a lot of trouble that day. But athletics taught me a lot about how not to give up. And I went from that little boy that counted mostly the lights on the ceilings when I first got into wrestling to being an undefeated state champion and All-American, and went to college on a wrestling scholarship. I played baseball. I was an All-American baseball player, and I was a very small but good football player. Kimberly was a musician, and she learned to go from this chair to the next chair to the next chair. And we always had mentors. We were always gifted with the right coaches. I don't know if that was I don't know why that happened, but we learned very early to seek out the people that would help us level up. And then maybe it's our spiritual background that we believe in God and whatever you guys believe in is fine with us too. We're not judgmental at all about how people believe, not whatsoever. We coach people in and out of our own faith and different faiths. We don't care. What we care about is that people believe in abundance, that we teach abundance, and we get more by giving things away. Cody, there's nothing I have. Matter of fact, I've lived in 8 different decades. My 18-year-old son bugs me all the time because I was born in November of 1959. So I lived for a month in the 50s. And my 18-year-old son, he's always saying, Dad, how were the month old? And out of those 8 decades, I've only had 6 original thoughts. So everything else I've got is from people like you, people like Coach Bird, Tony Robbins, people that we're Frankensteins of the greatest things we could ever find.
I would say that my dad inspired me. He would tell me so I guess I should back up. I came from a mixed race family, and my father, being a black man in his prime of life, he was a writer. And so he used to have to submit his manuscripts by mail because people wouldn't buy manuscripts from black people at that time. And so he used to tell me as a little girl, he would say, you have to be 10 times as good as your peers because you may not be accepted based on how you look. So you have to show up in a really profoundly excellent way. He said, you can accomplish anything you want to do in life as long as you're willing to put in the work that anybody else is going to do to get there. So those are kind of the underpinnings of, so when he and I met, I already came with my own skill set of a belief structure in achievement and, goal setting and accomplishing things for ourselves. And so we were a good match in that way.
And may I add, Cody, too, when Kimberly and I met, we were ships adrift. We were confused. We were our behaviors were different than they are today. We weren't
saying we were party animals.
Yeah, we weren't very refined. So one of the things that I think that I believe that we can bring to people that are searching. There's a lot of people I think that are stuck and they just don't know the price that they need to pay, or they don't know the vehicle they need to be in. So one of the things I think the insurance industry, and you got to be with the right people, you got to be with the right team. There's 3 things that I always look at. Are the products, bar none, best in class? And so you have to have the products that are best in class. Is the IMO or the company you're with also best in class? Because you can build something and with no control of yours, they can pull the rug out from under you, change the pay plan, do whatever. So the company has to be solid. The men at the top, the women at the top, the people running it have to be the kind of people that vibrate at the frequency you're looking to get to or to be aligned with. Like you, I vibrate with you. And so I don't mind sticking my neck out and saying, get to 8%. I don't mind doing that. Unabashedly, I promote you and Coach Bird. I've already got Coach Bird other clients and I've already sent people to you guys because I believe in you guys. But so product, company, and then the team you're going to be with. Because you can be with the right product and the right company, but not be with the people that are going to get you there. So one of the things that Kimberly and I can do is show you a vehicle where people were smart enough to take out the brake pedal and put in an extra gas pedal. And it's the Ferrari in the industry, right? I mean, because people are always tapping on the brakes. They're always tapping on the brakes. Heck with that. Go full speed. Make your mistakes. Just make them fast. Go fast forward. You guys have heard all these terms from great writers, much better than us. But we are good at identifying the areas and being able to put you in the seat of the right vehicle.
I love that. That's so good. That's so good. Gosh, I freaking love that. As I'm taking notes of your product, company, team. I mean, you're man. I'm getting excited. You guys just move at such a pace that I just respect so much. Like the amount of work we get done in this office or both offices in a day is like freaking mind blowing to a lot of people. And I guarantee it's the same way with your organization, right? Which is cool. So for those that come to 8%, now that you plugged that, and you're also going to be doing a breakout, What can they expect to learn when they spend some time with you two?
So excited. We're planning to teach this 7-figure skill set, compressing timelines to wealth. Literally, what are the levers that you can pull to make the difference between having an experience where you come in and you have your average, between that and having the velocity that it takes to really accomplish the mind-blowing, life-altering experience of what it can be in the insurance industry.
Yeah.
That's
Again, I go back is everything for me, because most of us, it doesn't sink in until we get it, right? Until there's that aha moment, that outlier feeling when that switch goes off. And there was a time in the car business where if you came into me, Cody, I already knew the questions you were going to ask me by your posture and everything else. I could tell by the way a car salesman was either leading or following a customer, whether we were going to sell that car or not. There was just a point in my career where I just knew everything that was going to happen many moments before it ever happened. And so when you're in that position, there's a lot of confidence and control you have of your own life and your own destiny. So we can see things that other people are coming into or leaving that they can't see. So we're going to illuminate that for them. We're going to help people identify that. And then they know the gaps. And if you know the gaps and you have the right stuff to fill it, then you can get to where you want to go. And the quicker you know, and the quicker you can fill, the quicker you can get there. And again, fast is fun. Slow, really, it's not fun. It doesn't equate to fun. And it doesn't compute to our value systems, our core values. We want you to have fun while you're getting stuff done. And when work and fun start to blur and they start to cross over, and in our industry, what happened? COVID's a horrible thing. Nobody can deny that, whether we believe or don't believe. It's real, right? It doesn't matter where it was created or who did it or what. It's a real thing. But what it did in our industry is it made some people much stronger, and it filtered out some of the weaker people. And now virtually we've got guys that are doing $30,000 a month traveling through Mexico. You don't have to be knee to knee, belly to belly anymore. You just have to get good at whatever it is that allows you to do this from Hawaii or Bali or wherever. All we need is the computer and internet. It took me a struggle. So what did I do? My friend says, well, why don't you do what you did when you went belly to belly? Why don't you do 30 of these overnight, struggle through them? And you know what I found out? Virtual wasn't that tough. After about 7 of them, my closing ratio was just as good as it was in home. And you know what? I was able to see 3 times as many people in a day because I wasn't wasting 3 hours of drive time to get porched. So these, it's just a matter of getting people past their own hurdles much, much faster. And it just, you become brilliant. Oh my gosh. It's so fun watching people explode. Maybe Kimberly can tell you about one of our success stories just recently out of Las Vegas.
Oh yeah, we have a gal on our team, an agent. She is fantastic. We actually just met her for the first time in person in November. We had just been Facebook friends and, sort of in that online sphere together. She's a paramedic in Las Vegas. And if you know anything about paramedics, they do not get paid what they are worth to do that job. I don't know how much you'd have to pay somebody to do that job, but she's very excellent at what she does, and she loves being a paramedic. She just doesn't love all that goes along with it. And so she made a decision that she wanted to come onto our team, and she got her license, and she has come out of the gate swinging. I mean, I'm so proud of her because she's very, very coachable. She's coming from an industry that has zero sales involved in it whatsoever, and she's just been open-minded and willing to go and do exactly as she's instructed, and she's been having fantastic results already, earned 3 or 4 times as much as she was earning as a paramedic. And as of today, she has gone full-time. She cut her paramedics down to part-time.
Yep, she switched. She went part-time paramedic and full-time in this because she can still do her passion, a couple days a week and get her need filled. So, and she's going to do something that's going to provide her with a lifestyle that she's yearned for a long time, where she wasn't getting. And I think, Cody, you and I run into these people all day long. I don't know what the percentage is. I'm terrible with numbers. She's great at them, unless they're paid. Then I'm really good with numbers. But everybody throws out 90%. I don't know what the percentage is, but I know the vast majority of people are unsatisfied with a majority of, or at least something in their work.
Greater than 70%.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I mean,
dissatisfied, and we're looking for people that are dissatisfied, that have the drive, so that we can get, and that's what we're going to teach. Yes. And this is a prime example where this young lady, we took her in a very short time. Within a month, she was over $10,000 part-time, quadrupling her income in this other industry that she loves, and she's able to go full-time now. Now it's Katie bar the door. Who knows what's going to happen? Her income is going to be based on her own efforts at this point. She has the skill set. So
that's huge. I love that. Yeah. I mean, I think it's 76% of employees are unhappy. That's a massive freaking statistic out of 200, 300 million people. That's a lot of people, and you guys are creating an unbelievable opportunity to help people and to make them their best self, for people that are coachable and that really want success in a massive way. You two are doing it. You've done it in literally almost every successful industry in the world, which is amazing and impressive. So thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for being a part of the industry, because you're leveling the whole industry up, which is awesome. And thank you for being a part of 8%. If someone wants to reach out to you before 8%, how should they do that?
I would connect with us on Facebook. We like to friend you.
You can call me direct. You can just call my cell phone. I have a much more direct approach. I don't care.
Okay. Good.
But I don't know, Cody, should we give them our numbers, or?
I mean, if you're okay giving it out and people reaching out to you, then sure. This will be up forever. So that's your call. Yeah.
208-866-7249. Text me, call me. I'm usually busy, but you just text me. I'm very responsive. Or just Facebook, Kim and Kimberly and Rob Skinner on Facebook. Jeez.
What is our name?
Yeah. What is that? So
that's awesome.
Another thing, Cody, that maybe we could tie things up with is one of the things that I think Kimberly and I have been selfless in is that we are not afraid to share you, Coach Burt, other people, because of our abundance belief. We also believe that if our team isn't the best fit for somebody, that we should help them find a team that is. We don't have any possessiveness over people. We put people in front of products. We put plans over commissions. Money never makes our decisions for us, ever. It's just not, money flows, so we don't worry about it. But if we think somebody's going to get more value by being somewhere else, or if we could share something, we're not afraid of losing somebody to something, because we never take ownership of people. We take ownership of the accountability partnerships that we have. And one of the things I always do in my personal interviews, which I always have, is we back into everybody's goals. We help them, and then we engineer them from a standpoint of activity. So it's really easy to manage that, because we know activities take care of results as we skill up. And if you're less skilled, you just have to do more activities to get skilled up faster. We show people how to do that. But I make honored commitments with people. So if I was coaching you, Cody, I would say, okay, what is your goals? We would set out an activity that we would do together. We would calendar that. We would say, here's how it has to happen. And now I would ask you this. I say, Cody, the only thing I ask ever to coach you and to keep mentoring you is that you honor yourself. So when we do our activity every week, when we're reporting accountability, I'm going to go, and if you fall a little short, we're going to talk about it. But if you're short every week, and like we say, you're going to make X amount of calls a week, and you're falling short every week, and you have excuses, at some point I'm going to have to cut you loose.
Yes.
And it's not because you're disappointing me; it's because you're not honoring yourself.
Yes. That goes back to.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If it is to be, it is up to me.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
I'm
awesome.
proud to be a part of 8% Nation. I'm grateful for your mission of impacting every insurance agent in the world, and I'm happy to be part of that. At our breakout, I believe that clarity is power, and so we have a couple of secret little word tracks, little magic dust to sprinkle on people's career that I think will move them forward. So something to
That's
look forward to.
huge. That's huge. Thank you both. Thank you for your abundance mentality. Thank you for everything that you're doing. I'm telling you guys, as you're watching, okay, reach out to these two, follow these two, and when you're at 8%, say hello. Thank you both.
Thank you, Cody. Appreciate your time.
Hey, if you enjoyed this, I got another one you're gonna love. It's right there. Click on it. See it. How did you earn 400 grand on one single case?
I don't want to give all the secrets away, then nobody will come to the breakout session, right? But it was a high-level estate planning case. I was doing retirement planning seminars, and this couple came,